Yeah, okay. Yeah, so, because we talked about things like that, also that, just a little one. Anyways, because everything actually is, from now on, we'll come to Latvia like, in 15 months, I guess, or 40 months, but before that, mainly things will be happening in Heinävesi. There will be people coming here probably. And everything, but so I'll tell you. Well, we'll hide the CD or repeat or somewhere in the house. I'm not home. Okay, so I'll tell you a little about Heinävesi and also about about my approach to that, because for me it was like I was born there, I went to study in Tampere, but then I felt that I never left the place, and because I studied journalism, which was kind of one of the which was really great that I was really young when I was working for newspapers. Well, I was 22 when I was working for Savasano, which is like regional newspaper. Then I was 24 when I was working for Helsinki May newspaper, and that taught me that because working as a journalist gave me a mandate to call whoever. I was representing a media, so although I was a young guy, I was really there was nobody was too important to be reached. And that's when I learned that if you want to know something, if you want to find out something, nowadays people go to Google, but I still have that. I pick up the phone, I find the best expert available, I try to ask, or then I just, okay, I have this idea, is it right? And I have used it for example, once I was making a music video in Heinävesi for my friend. By the way, now he has a band named Latvia. Because his family name is Latti, which means Latvia. I just had this script for that, and I called I had read it it was about kind of harassment. So it's I had read about one research. I called the researcher and I just, could you check my script, does it make sense? And she said, yeah, it makes sense. And on the day of the shooting, I had one part that I had problem with, and then I called her again and asked her advice. And it was for a music video, for kind of scientific approach to music video. And so it's in this project also, we have this, Nora Wickman is making his cultural studies, kind of sociology. We have biologists, we have music, but I have also what I've been working on. Recently, we just released our annual magazine. It's we made articles about industrial history and history of handicraft in Heinävesi, and I've been from really different angles. I've been when you need to somehow narrow down when you are doing a research or something. For me, the point of view is Heinävesi. I want to it's how and I must say that I felt a little shy to show you my videos, because for me I mostly want to show Heinävesi, because that's me. That's the main thing for me. And it's been really fantastic to do that, because when I started 16 years ago, I was invited by Juha Pentikäinen, a professor of biology, who has this, he's been studying shaman culture, sauna culture, bear cult, and he had this Sacred Places of Heinävesi project, and he invited me to shoot. And the first place I went to, it was an offering place, and then there was a cave, and I crawled into the cave. And a week before, I had flown over Kermajärvi on a hot air balloon. So, hey, this is really fantastic. I'm getting these different points of view to this place. And now I hear about some, ancient places, sacred places somewhere somewhere nearby, but I said, okay, no, I'm sorry, it's outside Heinävesi. I need to protect myself. I'll stay here. I'm not going 50 kilometers away because then it will. I have still. It will. If I want to explore everything that I want, it will take about 20 years. So call me in 20 years again. Then we'll see. And I like what we've had once. 15 years ago, I produced a documentary on Max Perttula, who is a perfumer, really fantastic guy who can recognize about 700 smells with his nose. And he has made a perfume named Helsinki Spirit that smells like money. So he came to Heinävesi and said, hey, please make Heinävesi Spirit. And he made, it smells like lake water and some tree flower and something like that. So we've had this in that really visual approach, then sound, also smells. Yeah, well, we made, of course, articles about foods and everything, and so I'm just that's really it's really great to be kind of a tourist in your hometown, and as I said many times before, I'm so lazy to leave home that when I want to see the world, I bring the world to my home. That's what I'm doing all the time. And it's also, that's why it's so nice to bring you also to Heinävesi, because I spoke to Tranan yesterday that for example the echoes that we have there and all these acoustics, I get this feeling that I'm just so partial that this is really special, but it really is. And it's really funny to bring new people there, and then they are really amazed that so there is really something that it's not just me. And so that's what I'm doing. And well, I'll show you. This is our web page. Well, you can see it well at the board. This is Heinävesi. It's quite round. Here there's Kärmäjärvi in the middle. It's a lake that is 30 kilometers long, and it's all inside Heinävesi. And it makes it so that, well, if you want to go somewhere like that, you need to go around it. Like there's one place, for example, Pilppa, where we do a lot. It's there's a place that's all called Pilppa, but there's in the middle there's a rapid and a canal. So if you agree to meet there, it's good to specify on which side, because it's only 200 meters across the border. But then if you need to drive, you need to drive about 50 kilometers. So that's what. And then I told Vasco that there's there's one spot with this small quay. If you go from the south end and you drive through Heinävesi to the south end, it's about 90 kilometers. So it's quite an area. So and that's why it's because we're exploring something like small rocks, so that you can go really into details. So you can understand how much details there are in such an area. But yeah, and well, there's on our webpage ecosoftheancient.com there are videos. There are, for example, the stomping stones and everything. I won't show you those because you can show them. You can see them yourself. And there are descriptions of the places that we are going to see. And also one thing I understand we've talked about this a lot, that there are people who want to know beforehand as much as possible. But it's kind of a balance, because I wouldn't like to give any ideas
coloring, right? You don't want to color the...
Yeah. I would like you to come to those places totally blank.
Mm-hmm.
So that I wouldn't give you any expectations. That's what it is. So, but but there are Tranan's videos and there are my videos, and so you will get it. But I think there's so much information that you will forget it anyway. That's what it says.
Yeah,
So,
just briefly adding, there are just some places where you will go through nature, so you will have to walk through nature. So that's maybe something that would be good to know. Because I had wet feet most of the time for the wrong shoes, because I was sick.
Yeah, and that's what I'm used to, like when arranging those trips to those places, is that I usually tell how long we are going to walk and so and like also like, for example, like knowing that okay, how many days it will be without a toilet and so on. Yeah. Well, of course I was talking weeks. So, yeah. But anyway, but also besides this, this side of like kind of journalism, scientific point of view, I also have, I referred to that already. I just last week, what was that? Last week? Yeah, last week I managed to do the first rough cut for my film Roots in the Stone, which I've been working on since autumn 2011. And I have the picture. Most of the picture is like the rough cut. I need to work on the sound. So like, if you happen to know any sound designers, sound professionals, or musicians, you can tell me. So, well, and actually, what I thought of is that using some sort of crowdsourcing for that, like because I actually wanted to finish it now. It was in a for a year and a half. It was in a stage that I was thinking that okay, next week when I get all these financing things and all these applications, everything done, then I will do it. And the next week was it lasted for like it was postponed for a year and a half, but just 2 weeks ago I just decided, okay, now I will steal some time for this and forget about everything else. And I wanted to make it so that I could play it to Martin, because I was really thinking that there is a lot of need and also space for sound design, and also for music. So I thought that I could really do it so that when I fix it a little, I could share it, and then you can, if you get ideas that you would like, hey, this would fit here, you can suggest. I can say that I'll be probably very picky. I realize that it's like in a way it's quite minimal and it will work like that. But anyway, it's because I was supposed to do it finish it by the end of year 2023, because we got my grant for that. But I just wrote a report in which I lied that everything's done. And now I'm really happy that it wasn't finished, because now I can use these resources that are here. And also that's it's very strongly connected to everything we are doing, because it's a kind of like that somehow maybe also explains why I'm so obsessed about Heinävesi and why it's like I feel so it feels so important, because it's a story about a spirit that I got connected with via Milen, who has a very strong gift of a medium. It's a shaman woman who has lived some time in the Bronze Age, and she became sort of family member for us. She's been here too, like appearing here and there. Milen, for example, thought that she was in the queuing in the shop, and there was some really black man, and then that arm. Hey, that's interesting. Hey, touch you. And then I tried it. Really, okay, no, not now. But anyway, so it's sort of like, and I think, well, there's a lot of, it's no use telling the story, because, I made it into a film so that I can make it as compact as possible, and now 1 hour and 50 minutes. But anyway, there are some points like that. One, I think so much about what Martin talked about, that, because that the shaman, she acts via Milen's body, And she's so much about, like, she's saying that, okay, it's so great, that you have a body to feel something. And she's so exploring the world, and it's been like really kind of she's interested in smells and everything, but one of the first things that was once, like when Millen was doing St. Petersburg, we were writing Skype, and then suddenly there was just same letter coming over. Hey, are you alright? No, I'm just making sounds to get the beep beep from the computer. And Millen was living in a communal this where there are like flats where there are different people in different rooms living. So her roommate came, hey, are you alright? Is your computer broken? No, I just fell asleep. And she was very much about like making sounds and also like all this, like exploring the world, like, in a way, like without all this, without knowing, like looking with totally fresh eyes, like a child. So, and that's, it's been really fantastic, and I think it's kind of a good method for us to, and one, actually, it's about this unbecoming, I think, well, one of the, which is the biggest kind of insight for me, which Art gave me. Well, it was like, because here, well, when we got together with Milena, so like, the beginning was quite difficult, and there are a lot of quarrels because we have both our own problems, and Art used to come to just to solve things, and she would just come to, okay, tell me, okay, shut up, and whatever, and she was the only one who I would listen to. But once there was like a situation, I felt, okay, this is it, and R appeared, and then she just looked at me, and she said, okay, oh, you little one, one day you will understand it's not so important to be right, because what's the use of being right if you lose one? And that's when I realized that, this was about this knowing, that so many, we have so much, this need to be right, but what I realized after that, I always forget to use it, but sometimes when discussing something or like debating, it's like, Martin used to likes to talk about debating, but we talked about the meaning of that because it's quite strong for a Finn. Debate this kind of argument. But anyway, that if we agree in the beginning that we are all wrong, it will make us much freer. And so I tried to explain this to one philosopher. I said, no, that we are all right. Everyone, no, it's totally different. If you say that, that if you try to hold on to the right to be right, it is something. But if you say that, okay, well, from some point of view, we are all wrong, then you admit your weaknesses, and then it's like, you don't have to defend your own idea, and you are much more ready to receive and adapt new information. So, and that could be like, well, for anything, not like, also for this project. But then, and one more thing, like that R asked once, which actually is, I think it's like good kind of a guideline for our project, because we are going to those sacred places. We use this in this map. There are most of the places where we go to. Well, we won't go to all of these with you, but where we take people. I use the sacred places. I call them sacred places because we have a lot of places which are there. Some of the places there are archaeological findings, but then there's a lot of places which are just more like speculation, or let's say that it's likely that there has been some that there are ritual places or something else. And we have different reasons to assume that. But I'm just saying that, like, you know, that if we don't call them sacred, if you say that, that they are like, if you try to claim that they are all archaeological, then they will be, no, you don't evidence this. But if you say that they are sacred, it's very, like, you know, it's a very personal experience. If one of us finds one of those places sacred, no one can say that it's not sacred. And I also said that we make them sacred by going there, by doing things there and respecting those places. They already become sacred like that. So anyway, there's still a way where that R appeared for the first time. There's a face stone. Show that the picture. I'll let you.
Yeah, it's funny, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. It just shows so much on the picture, but you know, here there are like eyes, and then there's mouth, which is formed in the rock. And when I saw it for the first time, it had like, there's lesion here, so it had like pupils open, eyes open, which are like explained later that it was a sign that there was something dangerous. Anyway, this face stone, it looks over the lake to an island where there's Bronze Age grave. This is because this total is great, so it's like 100, well, it was 1 degree difference to that island. So anyway, I thought about this stone to Antti Reini, who lives, who has a house that's very close to mine. He's like one of the most internationally successful actors in Finland. Yeah, I know that stone. I climbed on that. And then I told William, and William said, don't people have any respect? And then I discussed that with R, and R's comment was, little ones always like to climb on things. So, and that's what I have used as a guideline. I've told the story many times, that, you know, like that. When people go to sacred places, they often have the idea that you have to go back to the church, that you have to be very serious, and just be like, you know, somehow. Maybe you have to do some ritual, maybe you have to make a cross with your hands or something, just, you know, some sort of ritual that you are doing things right. But I've said it doesn't matter. As long as we respect the places, as long as we don't break anything, as long as we bring love, it's all right. And also, one thing that I said, like very early, was that the best way to thank spirits is to love.
Yes, you know.
So, like that, you know, I'm just thinking, you know, if you go to a place, if there are spirits who have been there for thousands of years, maybe they like some action. Maybe they don't want some you know, civil servants coming there, like really looking very official. So that's why, and that's well, because we also talked about what kind of instruments we can take there, and what is right. So it's like just, you know, as long as we, like, you know, do things out of joy and love in those places, I think it's, you know, we are also feeling the, you know, the spirit or the spirits or whatever there is, we are bringing just, you know, good things to those places. And we also can get a lot of good things out of them. So, yeah, after this, it's no, I can't say anything. So,